conversation and talk, and it'll lead into DJing and how you got into that business, and that's it.
My life story, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what's interesting, and I was thinking today about it. I mean, that's something that you're doing it. You personally, I guess, are doing it kind of part time, right? Because you got a more than a full time gig.
Sure. Yeah.
But it could be a full time job for somebody that they could make plenty of money.
And I could make it be one too if I really took the time to do it. But that's not really why I got into it. Yeah. And I do enjoy my day job. I do enjoy what I do with that and stuff too. So, I mean, my whole motivation to do it was because I had 2 kids about to go to college. And I was looking at how much that was going to cost. And, you always think you're going to save and there'll be a big fat bag of money just waiting for them.
That happens, right?
Yeah. But I got buddies that they're almost into their 40s and still paying for college debt. Yeah. And so I just started thinking about what could I do to help pay for college? And I didn't want my kids to get out of school and then when they start their lives and have $100K of debt.
Right.
And it's $100K of debt. I can tell you right now, it's $100K. My oldest one just graduated, and that's what it is. It's great because not just the school, but I mean you got to feed them, you got to put them in an apartment, and they lived in a lot nicer places than I did when I was in college. Let's just say that. But.
And that's why I talk to these kids so much about alternative careers because look, I was never going to college. Mm-hmm. I tried community college. I lasted about 3 days. I was not. It just wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. And it's not for a lot of people. But we've been taught, at least through our generation, that you have to go to school. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get a job if you don't go to college. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to happen. And now from what I understand, there's a shortage of skilled craftsmen, plumbers, HVAC guys, welders, and all this other stuff because everybody's been told you need to go to college and get an IT job or a degree or whatever. So I get really excited about what I call alternative careers because when I was 20, if I'd have went to my mom and said, "Mom, I'm going to be a DJ." No, not on the radio DJ.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to go play music for people. They're going to pay me to do it. It'd have been like, you should probably go to school, and that's a good hobby. That's cute.
And that's the hard part about me getting into DJ. There is no training. There is no school. There is no. You got an easier chance of finding a good lawyer than you do a good DJ because there's no formal training at all. And for me, I played instruments, and I just wasn't very good at playing the instrument. I mean, I was good enough for my own enjoyment, but wasn't very good. But growing up, I played in bands and stuff. And when I was in high school, I worked in a music store. When I was in college, I worked in a music store. I've always had a big love for music. Right. It's always been really important to me. Everything around my life has been around something about music. And I recall I was just kind of flipping through, trying to find a side hustle. I was like, okay, what can I do on the weekends? Or my kids were older, so they were one was in middle school, one was in high school, and I found this ad about DJ. And so I contacted them. They emailed me back. It was a husband and wife team. They'd owned the business for 21 years. And the wife ran all the day-to-day operations. And her husband was one of the DJs. And he was older, so he wasn't DJing as much. But they had folks that worked under them. So they hired me and they trained me.
So at that point, you were just an employee.
Yeah, I was just an employee. Okay. I was just learning to be. I had no intentions of. I mean, I don't know what I was getting into, to be quite honest. Right. But I started doing it, and I followed. I was a roadie. I carried speakers. I did everything he told me to do, and he was a really good DJ though. His name was Jeff, and he was so particular about everything he did. And I learned a lot from him. And then they put me out on my own. I started doing gigs on my own. Started doing weddings and parties and things like that. And I was actually making pretty good money. They were paying me well just to do this on the side. And then later they approached me about a year later and said that they want to sell the company, that they would like to kind of get out of it, and they'd like to sell it to somebody who would keep the name going and everything like that. So I bugged my wife for several months.
I'm doing the same thing right now.
Yeah, I bugged my wife for several months, and because I was kind of telling this is something that she was a stay-at-home mom. Right. And she has so much talent. I knew she would be amazing in sales. And she would be the event planner. She would do all the day-to-day type operations and meet with the brides. And so, and they had offered to train her in this process too, as they trained me. And it was really strange. So we went to, and it's on my website. It's up soundquestdjs.com. Little plug there. But if you go to our website, there's a little story there. So my wife and I were sitting, we went to Chinese restaurant in Columbia, and we literally had piece of paper, pros, cons, and I'm hard selling her. I'm just telling her this is what we need to do. And
right. Everything's going to be perfect. And we're going to get every get.
We're going to pay for our kids' college.
Yes.
So that's all it was. And we got our fortune cookie. And when I opened my fortune cookie, and I still have this fortune too, and it said, "Your love of music will be an important part of your life." And I always thought that was just a little sign there. I thought it was kind of cool. So after
we
that,
have to do this.
Boom, we're doing it. So we bought the company. They trained my wife for about 6 months, and then we bought it that January, the first of that year, and we've built it. We've grown every single year, and it's been a real blessing in our life.
Right.
I mean, it's work though.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. It is hard work. You have to be a patient person. It takes a special kind of person to do it, but it's paying for our kids' college, and that our kids won't have that debt.
So I always talk about or tell people that there's a process to everything. You can't skip the process, and I know the process. And even like this podcasting, I'm getting very frustrated because it's not growing as fast as I want it to grow, because I feel like it's valuable. That there's some kid.
But you gotta be patient though. It takes time.
Right.
And
I know that.
And that's hard for me to be patient on.
And I know that's
too.
the case. And it's frustrating because there's somebody that could use your story and get something from it that's not going to see it. Mm-hmm. And if we were, 10 years down the road and you're reaching whatever hundreds of thousands of people, then it's a different scenario. So it's funny that I know the process and I still get frustrated and I know to be patient. But what I found with that kind of stuff is it's got to be, for me, it's your why, right? If you were if you decided to go be a DJ and you didn't care about music, you didn't do any of that stuff, and it was just, it's a job, it's money.
And I see that. So, I see people in my day job industry, which I love what I do with MobileCom. I see people that it's a job. They clock in and they work.
Yeah.
In the wedding industry, it's the same thing. Sometimes it's so much better. And I tell everybody, if I didn't have fun doing this, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy it, although it's work. It's not playtime, but you get to see people enjoy the product, and you get to be a part of people's best day.
Yeah,
and I think that's pretty special.
Yeah, sure.
And that we take it seriously. I mean, we don't overbook. We try to. I'd rather do 3 perfect weddings on a Saturday than to spread it out and suffer quality and stuff.
Yeah,
but there's some very good people in the industry that do it full time. They do a great job. Yeah. I have great competitors in my area. I respect all of them, and there's enough business out there for everybody.
There is.
But you're right. There's some people. There's some venues that I've been to, and people are just clocking in. They're not doing it for the right reasons. I think.
Well,
sometimes.
and that's where I was going. Is for what I'm doing right here. The why is to affect others. Look, I sucked growing up. I mean, I was terrible. I should have never made it. I found a mentor, changed my life. But my why is to give back and to help others and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As long as that never changes and the why stays the same, then it's a lot easier to keep going and a lot harder to quit. If the why was money and you spent a fortune buying equipment and all that kind of stuff, and a month into it, the money doesn't come, it's easy to quit. So why?
And that's what's great though, is that my wife, because we're a husband-wife team, and I have strengths and weaknesses, and we balance each other out. She does a great job meeting with the brides. She does all the planning. So when we show up for a gig, we know everything that's going to happen. We're not, scrambling to find the song, right before the bride and groom come out there. But she keeps me grounded because I want to go buy a bunch of equipment. So I got to clear that with a wife before I start spending money.
Yeah,
but
I
just have to justify, the return on it. And it's easy. I mean, the greatest story of my life, my wife, if she's watching this, she's going to kill me. But the greatest story is for over a year, I told her we got to get in the photo booth business, and we got to do photo booths, because I was working a gig and I was going all over the place, working my tail off, doing this wedding. And there was a guy drinking a beer by the photo booth, and he was charging more than I was. And I was like, this is wrong.
He's a photo booth guy.
Yeah. So for over a year, I bugged her about it. And it took my daughter Kendall helping me convince her. And we bought a photo booth, and we went to a bridal show. Went to a bridal show, and it was one of those special moments in a marriage. If you're married and you ever hear this, it's just wonderful. But we had that photo booth. We showed it to all the people, and on the ride home, my wife looked at me and she goes, "You were right. you were right. We should have done this a long time ago. This was a great idea. So I had to pull over and just kind of soak that in and stuff because it was a special moment. But
the events that you've hosted for us, the corporate events and stuff that we've put together, the photo booth is where everybody ends up. They're all there. They're all having fun. They're all goofing off or whatever. So one thing though that I think gets lost, and I've seen it not only probably with adults more, is they'll start a business and it's like, just go buy the equipment and then the business will come in, right? Like they don't understand marketing. They don't understand the work that goes into either cold call selling or doing shows. How are you booking? Obviously referral, I would assume, but how did you get started in that stuff?
So we got really lucky. So we bought an existing company that had already been around for 21 years. So when we bought it, the day we closed, they handed me a check we had like 24 events already booked. So we never went in the red. From day one, we've never lost money because the day one we already had stuff booked, and then we just started building on that. We don't do, of course, we have a Facebook page and we have a website and stuff, but we're a part of the Columbia Bridal Association, which is a great association to be a part of, and we go to all the bridal shows. Yeah, so we do a lot of bridal shows, a little bit of advertising, but not a whole lot. But a lot of it's. If you have a good audience, like I did a couple of years ago, I did a wedding in Florence, and we've never done anything in Florence. Right. But I did one really, really good wedding in Florence, and just off that one, we started doing a lot of business in that area. It branched into like 10 or 12 different more gigs. So a lot of times when people, like I've had families, I've done like they've got 2 daughters, or I have 3 daughters, and I did the first daughter, and they had a great experience. So they hired me for the second, and then hopefully pretty soon I'm waiting on the third to get married. Yeah. So, but yeah, a lot of it's word of mouth. Sound Quest DJs have been around, and people, like we did a wedding for someone that apparently Sound Quest DJ back in the day did her 16th birthday party back in the day. So a lot of it is referral, a lot of it's word of mouth, and just friends and people that know that we do it. Now, one thing when you start doing DJing, everyone wants you just to come over and do it for free, right? Which is a different story. Yeah, but it's
like I think that's like that with anything. You got a friend that's a doctor. Everybody's telling them about their aches and pains, and if you've got someone that works on cars or whatever, that's why I can never be a mover.
Oh, I know.
I don't need anybody calling me and say, "Hey, man, we're moving this week."
It's hard having a truck too. I mean, if you have a pickup truck, everybody wants you to come over there and help them move move a couch or something. But yes, I mean that's how we really kind of got into it. I mean, it just kind of fell into that, and it's been good. It's been good for the whole family, and my daughters help out with the photo booth and things like that. So we've done some charitable things for my daughter's sorority, and every year I do a prom thing for special needs and stuff, and that's a good PR type thing. Yeah. But you get to see people enjoy it. And believe me, if they would just if you want another side hustle, just take these and follow me on a couple of gigs. We make a great reality show.
We can do it, man,
because we see some ridiculous. They might have to blur out the faces and stuff like that. But we've had some crazy stuff happen. That's for sure. I even bet. Like the photo booth, like every part of the anatomy has been exposed in our photo booth, unfortunately.
I bet. So with like getting into the business, did you know, or did they just approach you about buying it? Did you know this is something you want to do? Were you thinking about starting your own thing? I mean, how did that?
Well, and that's the thing. That's why it was so crucial to, like, I wasn't starting from scratch. So if I had started from scratch, and I could have done that for a lot cheaper, but I wouldn't have had the name recognition. I wouldn't have had the branding, a lot more work. And I wouldn't have been able to be a part of associations and stuff because you have to be in business so long. So even though I paid a lot more to buy that company because of the name and stuff, it was a great move, and that's what helped me start strong. Right. Because I could have spent $15,000 on equipment and just hope that somebody books me. Right. But to walk in the door with 24 gigs already.
And be cash flow positive from day one.
Exactly. So plus returning people. And I retained, the DJs.
That's what I started to ask you there is how many people do you have working for you? And do you bring in, like, is there DJs that'll work for multiple companies because somebody may not be booked this week? I mean, how's that industry work?
Yeah, I can't expect, in our industry, we, with Motorola, we had non-competes. So you got to work just for me, right. But you can't really do that in this industry because so I have DJs that they do their own bar gigs downtown. They do side hustles. They might ask to do a wedding for a friend or something like that. They'll do stuff on their own, but then I book them. So I'm kind of like a booking agent for them.
Right.
But like I said, I got a guy named Blake who's super talented. Him and his wife have a band called Glass Mansions. They're really, really talented. That might be somebody you might want to talk to in the future.
Oh my gosh, where have I heard? I've heard that name before.
They're from Myrtle Beach, actually.
I've definitely heard the name.
But he's by far my best DJ. Super talented in mixing and does all kinds of good stuff. And I love working with him. And then one of my other guys, his name's Harrison. And I found him doing a gig. I was doing a gig for a bride and groom, and I knew the family. And he was like a part of that family, so he was volunteering to bartend.
Right.
And he was having more fun than anybody. And so I just kind of approached him like, hey, you ever thought about DJing? Because he was the fun. He was the party starter. And so I just asked him, I trained him for a little while, and he rode with me, rode with other DJs, and he's a great DJ. He does a great job. So it's to find talent like that. It's
weird because I don't mind speaking. I don't have stage fright and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I can't stand speaking directly to a camera, like holding the camera trying to vlog.
That's why it's good that these are on the side.
Yeah, I can't do that. But like, I don't have my personality will not allow me to be the life of the party. It's just not like
I don't know, man.
No, it won't, dude. I'll go to.
I've got a couple tequila shots in you before, and I saw what happened there.
I've been to local dueling piano thing here.
Yeah.
And I've had people walk up to me and like smile. It's not that bad. Like I'm having a good time. It's not that I'm not enjoying it. I'm not the rah kind of person. So I couldn't DJ. I would be terrified.
We just pride ourselves on not being cheesy. But it's a challenge though sometimes.
Yeah. When I've listened to the radio show and they've got a DJ that comes in every once in a while and he's talking about the games he's playing and all that stuff. But I can't be, this is it. Monotone. This is what you get.
Bueller.
Yeah. Yeah. But I can appreciate it. I want to be that guy. But and I need it when I go speak at schools. Mm-hmm. And you're standing on stage and they don't want to just hear
you got to be interactive
Michael.
With them. Yeah.
So I got to work on that. I don't know where to go or where to get help, but I've got to figure out some way to get some inflection, something or another. But yeah. So how would a young person that just loves music, break into that business? I mean, do they intern? Do they just come talk to people? I mean, how does somebody with zero experience kind of get into that business? Like for me, it would be like I'd volunteer to go do it for free, right? I love music. I'll drag speakers around or whatever and pay my dues. That kind of the old apprentice program. I mean, what's that stuff look like now? Is it the same thing? Or do you just hire somebody? I mean, how does that work? Or are you just out searching for people like your guy that you found at the gig is like, hey, you make a good DJ.
It's just strange. It's strange when you just bump into the right people that have a love for this, that can do it.
It's funny, man, when you see people out. Like I've been at restaurants before, and I'm like, this server would be a great salesperson.
Oh yeah, I've done it before too.
I've offered servers jobs as salespeople before because like you can tell you've just got it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've definitely done that. So. Like, is there a season for weddings and that kind of stuff? I mean, I know you're doing some other corporate gigs, but I mean, sure. is it? I'm assuming spring, summer, fall, or is it year round?
It kind of dies down around January, February. In January, we're doing a lot of booking, so we do a lot of bridal shows. A lot of people are booking their weddings. A lot of people get engaged, right after the first of the year, and stuff like that too. So
okay,
there's a lot of people that do that, and they would kind of have more bookings in the spring and the fall and stuff too. But it is kind of seasonal. It's nice when it slows down a little bit every now and then.
So I'm just wondering, is there trends in the business? Like we seen the photo booths, and I remember seeing some magic mirrors or something like that. It seems like, I mean, what do you see in that kind of stuff?
The trick is to find
that's kind
the
of
next
exciting.
Thing. Yeah, it is to find the next little niche and stuff where the photo booth is kind of a niche, and it really has lasted a lot longer than people thought it would.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tricky to find that next new thing.
Yeah, it's fun, man. The photo booth thing, I thought it was cheesy when I first heard about it, but and I imagine like a booth like you'd see at a mall or whatever. Then when it comes out and all the costume stuff and all the glass
Look all ridiculous.
Oh
and
my
stuff
God,
too.
we've got pictures down on the refrigerator, and Vicky's got pictures taped up at the office on a printer and all that stuff from when we were doing some of that.
Yeah, that's funny. You think that just young people would enjoy that, but the older folks freaking love it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Maybe as much or more so. I know the pictures that we've got. It was definitely an older crowd that was.
Oh yeah,
get a couple drinks in them, and that's what they love to do.
It's good. People watching. I tell you what, though.
I mean, it sounds like it'd be a blast.
It is fun though. I mean, it is. Again, like we talk about, it is work though, but it is. There's a lot of personalities you're dealing with and stuff like that too, but it's the professionalism, it's taking it seriously, because I mean it's somebody's wedding, it's their best day. I mean you can't afford for anyone to not do it right.
Yeah. Well, just the talking about work. I mean, I don't know if I would have never realized until I've helped you sit down and break down and set up at these things. All the lights and all the equipment. And I mean, there's bag after bag and box after box of equipment. And because I think, kind of my impression before was it's just, you've got a laptop, you plug it into a PA, and that's the end of it. But like talk about that.
With that, there's a lot with that as far as like finding, like you said, the new niches and stuff like that too. So yeah, I drive my wife crazy with like new lights or lasers or little things like that to perfect it and make it look clean and nice and stuff like that too. So I'm always upgrading equipment pretty quite often though.
But even like that, talk about the process of, because it's not like just click play, find another song and click play. I mean, you're meeting with customers.
Sure.
Figuring out what they want. You're putting a playlist together. I mean, what does that whole thing look like?
So what we do is we'll actually sit down and meet with the bride and groom or bride and bride or bride and mom or whatever committee is helping make decisions. And my wife will send them like a 7-page document. And basically it asks every question that could be important to them. We put it all in there because we don't want to miss something.
Right.
We make sure. And so my wife will go through that. We'll literally do a timeline and go through like exactly, okay, you want this to happen then, and the ceremony is where, and things like that. So a perfect timeline of what had happened. And then for like, if we're going to do ceremonies, we'll select all the prelude music, and I'll literally build the playlist right then. We'll select all the prelude and then all the ceremony music as far as them coming down the aisle or the bridal party or recessional and stuff like that too. We always mic the officiant and always ask that because you never know. It might be a loud environment, and it's frustrating when you go to a ceremony and you can't hear the ceremony. So we always mic the officiant. We have mics for readers or soloists or if they want to do something like that. And then for the reception, we do the full, like I said, the full timeline. My wife is great because she phonetically spells all the names of all the people. And sometimes that's one challenge is, I mean, you stand in front of 350 people and read their names. Yeah. You want to get it right.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess it up. Phonetics is awesome. Yeah. So she'll phonetically spell it so we don't butcher anybody's name. And we'll basically read off all the introductions and whatever song they want to come into for the intros and then like first dances. And we'll play the songs because there's like so many different versions. And it's interesting as a lot of people pick very obscure things for the first dances and stuff because they don't want to do what their cousin did or their friend did. They got to be different. You know?
That's what I wanted to ask is what song is played at every wedding?
Every wedding, the nightmare songs that we hear all the time are all the line dances and stuff, but which they're great tools. So, you want to play them because they will get them out there.
Right.
You just don't want to play all of them if you can help it. But if that's what they want, if that's what the bride, and that's what we try to like, it's not my day to shine.
Right.
It's not my day to be cheesy and put the spotlight on me. It's their day. So we try to put the focus on the bride and groom and things that they like. We want to play with things they don't like. We got a do not play list, and it's funny what people put in that do not play list. I mean, it could be anything.
Sure.
There's just one song that they just hate. Like we never play songs with girls' names in them because you never know. I mean,
I'd have never thought of that.
He might have dated a girl named Caroline, the sweet Caroline,
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we try not to.
Yeah, that would destroy.
There's little things, but we ask them, what they want to play, what they don't want to play, and that way they don't have to pick all the songs. But if they give me just a couple of things that they really like, I can typically build a playlist around that, and that helps everyone become prepared. And so we try to always play something for everybody. We want the older folks to hear the Frank Sinatras and the Etta James and the things that they want to hear, and kind of move through the genres. And
or you could just put Uptown Funk on a loop and be done with it.
You can throw a dart at a Bruno Mars song and it works. I mean.
I was at a trade show this weekend, and it was events and festivals. These trade shows are amazing because all these people do are throw parties. And at 6:30, they had dinner, and they bring in bands, and the bands will play like a 4-song set because they're trying to get booked at these festivals.
Right.
So we had like 10 different bands come in. At least 3 of them covered Uptown Funk. But what was so funny is
that's hilarious.
You watch them, and they've got a dance floor, nobody's out there. And then as soon as they play either some Uptown Funk, and I remember them playing like some old Journey song or something, the girls run up there.
Don't Stop Believing works.
Oh my God, the girls run up there and start dancing. Then 2 or 3 guys will straggle up there and start dancing or whatever. But I could not believe the amount of times that Uptown Funk was covered.
So we do a lot of weddings for people who grew up in the 90s and stuff. So I literally, one of the weddings that we did, she requested like some cheesy like 90s stuff, and I was like, I really don't want to play this. But I was like, I kind of threw it on the bride and groom. So I hit the mic. I said, hey guys, when we met with the bride and groom, we said, what kind of music you want to play? This is what they wanted. And I hit it just thinking I'd get groans, and the place went nuts. It was Backstreet Boys. And the place went bananas. So on top of that, I've built this playlist that works. It's called Girly Music with Extra Cheese. And it's literally like the Backstreet and the NSYNC and the Spice Girls and the old Miley and it's Christina and Britney. I mean, but those are the songs that will,
they grew up with them. They love it.
Yeah, they want to hear the fun cheesy pop and stuff, and it works though. It works. But yeah, like Usher, if I play that's going to work too. So there's certain songs that are going to work. You just got to find the appropriate time to play those.
Is it hard with the technology to kind of call an audible and make a change to the playlist immediately? Like if something's going wrong, I mean, is it easy? I mean,
if it's not working, we'll abort. We won't make them listen to the whole song or something like that. If the floor is dead, then we'll just keep. We call it fishing. We'll just keep throwing lines out until something works.
It's funny, man, when I travel out of town and I'll get a good hotel room, be thinking about Ashland or whatever, and I'll start watching YouTube videos of like daddy-daughter dances at weddings.
Oh, gosh.
Bro, it's like torture. And I do it all the time. And I don't know how you do this every weekend. You're watching, especially with 2 girls, and you're watching daddy-daughter dances.
And when I first started, and honestly, I mean, like I have 2 daughters, Riley and Kendall, and every time I do those daddy-daughter dances, like every now and then, I literally will have to look away. Like there are certain songs that would just, I mean, they're great songs.
Oh, I can't watch them or listen to them.
Butterfly Kisses.
Oh no, I can't do it.
I mean, what's it? My Little Girl. There's.
Oh my God, I loved her first crap or whatever. Like I'll tell Ashlyn, I'll be joking. I will be downstairs watching YouTube or something. Like, you want to watch Daddy cry? And I'll start to I was like, no, I'm just kidding.
It's hard for. And there's been plenty of times where I'm like, oh my gosh, like those are very touchy moments, and that's what I really do love about it is we get to help make those moments special. And to see in the father daughter, the mother son, those songs are very special to the parents, and it's really cool. But it is rough. But we've already got Kendall's song. I've already got it picked out, and Riley's song I already had it picked out. So I know exactly what it is. So it's funny when sometimes they'll pick the songs that I know I'm going to play for my daughter when that time happens.
No, I've turned into a misty-eyed fruit lately. I don't know. I don't know if it's just age. I don't know what it is, but oh my Lord,
I did it today, man. I was listening to some music just on the way up, and
it gets me, man.
And that's what I love about music. I mean, it's all about emotions. Happy, sad. I mean, or crazy, whatever it is. But it can take you. There's a great song by Eric Church called Springsteen, and it talks about the song. Is great because he talks about the first time he went to a Springsteen concert, and every time he hears Springsteen, it takes him back to that moment. Yeah. And that's what it does for me when I hear music. So it'll take me back to another moment. Like we're around the house, we'll play old music that me and my wife used to listen to when we were in college and stuff, and it takes you back to those moments.
Yeah, cool. I was having that conversation when we were at that show this weekend. Tim and I are sitting there, and somebody was covering Bob Seger Night Moves.
Oh, great song.
I remember.
I just played that at a wedding just recently, yeah.
That's my second favorite Bob Seger song. But I remember it from when I was probably 4 years old.
Yeah.
riding around in my mom and dad's van. And I mean, that's how far back I can remember that song. But yeah, it does. I mean, it takes you back. Like I can remember certain songs will put me in certain places, you know, growing up, because we moved all over the place. So it's hard for me to remember all the places I've lived in 40 different places. So it's
40. Wow.
40. I've lived in 2 in the last 12 years.
Wow.
So when I lived in 38 places by the time I was 31 years old.
Good gosh.
That's how. So when I think about where all I lived, it was the car we were driving. That's kind of helps me put years into perspective, and the music. Like I could remember when I lived in Oregon in 8th grade. Like I could remember Fresh Prince's Parents Just Don't Understand. That's what the song was. And we used to get out and dance in the Jeep like we reenact this crap when a horn's blowing. And but I can remember that kind of stuff. And then like you were saying, the 90s music. Whenever I hear like Can't Touch This or whatever, I remember I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
I lived at Holly Hills Apart. I just remember all that kind of stuff. And like Tom Petty's Free Fallin' takes me back to when I got in trouble at school and I was grounded. I was stuck in my room and just played Free Fallin' on a loop. And it always takes me back to that place. So I enjoy, but I don't do a lot of live music. But like music, man, I can go on YouTube and just get in a loop and just start watching crazy stuff.
Gone to a bunch of concerts recently and stuff. I mean, that's one thing my wife and I have in common, and to have that connection that we just love. Yeah. Love seeing live music.
Yeah, I haven't been to a lot of concerts. A handful. I'm going to see Elton John this year. In November.
You got House of Blues of the road up here, so there's always really good acts there. Are you going to go see Elton John? I'm sorry.
Yes, in Boston in November.
Wow, he's coming to Columbia here soon.
Columbia or Charleston. Yeah. Kevin's going to go see him in Charleston or wherever he's at.
She wants to go so bad.
I've been talking about it for years, and Vicky finally found tickets, and so
that's awesome.
We're going to Boston in November, and I saw Rod Stewart in Las Vegas. That was fun. I saw Garth Brooks back in his heyday in the mid '90s or whatever.
Yeah, that's one I've never seen Garth. That's a bucket list right there.
Like that one there. This was back when he would sell concerts out in 3 minutes or something. I mean, it was insane.
So what's the best concert you've ever been to?
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses one?
By far.
Even though that guy peed on your back?
Yeah. But I waited on that. I mean, like I wanted for 20 years to go see that show. And it was weird too because
I saw him with Metallica a long time ago.
Oh, like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been amazing too. But like when we saw him this year, like everybody actually gained a bunch of weight. So it was almost like a tribute band, but
he looks so weird now.
He sounded fine. And then of course Slash is a rock star, but it was a lot of fun. You know what? We went and I forgot. We went and saw Kesha and Macklemore this summer with my daughter and nephew in Chicago. Dude, that was a lot of fun.
I love me some Kesha. Her music. I mean, I definitely like her music. Just when you play Kesha, at a wedding, people go.
That was a lot of fun. Stupid. My first concert I ever went to was back in like 91. Trickster, Firehouse, and Warrant.
Man, that's some hair bands right there.
Trickster, Firehouse, and Warrant. Then we went to Garth Brooks, and again, that's when they were selling out in just a matter of minutes. So we bought the tickets in Gatlinburg, and we had to sleep on the sidewalk.
Wow.
And they changed the rules to where you could buy 4 tickets and that was it. And we were number 25 and 26 in line. And by the next morning when we left, there was hundreds and hundreds of people in line. So we're standing there, everybody walked by and they're like, what are you waiting on? What are you in line for?
Wait, you waited overnight for Warrant?
No. This was Garth Brooks.
Oh, Garth Brooks. Okay.
Because the whole deal was they were.
Sorry, I misunderstood you.
No.
I was about to say that's kind of embarrassing.
No. The whole thing was we knew we could sell the tickets.
Right.
So we were going to buy the tickets, sell the tickets, go to the show for free, and make some money. That was the plan. And so people would walk down the sidewalk. They'd be like, "What are you in line for? What are you doing?" And it would be like Garth Brooks tickets. Then the next guy would come. And the next guy would come. And I'll never forget it. We're sitting there, and we'd had enough. And my brother, who's a year and a half younger than me, he goes to like a drugstore, CVS or something, and buys a poster board and a marker and writes, "Waiting on Elvis tickets." There's a guy that walks past us and looks at it.
Are you serious?
And then looks at it again, and he's like, "Elvis is dead." And we're like, only in some states. And so the next morning we got our 8 tickets. He got 4, I got 4. But like I could remember walking back to the car past these hundreds. They're never getting tickets.
Right.
Never getting
So
tickets.
you sold your 4 and then
Yeah, we sold them. And got to go see the show for free. I don't remember if we made any extra money, but it was me, my brother, and one of my friends went to go see it, and it was fun, man. I mean, it's back when he was swinging around and all that kind of stuff. And then it was we did some House of Blues stuff. Saw Aaron Lewis at House of Blues and Hootie and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and then
Hootie. Got to see Hootie a couple times this year.
Yeah, and then
got tickets to that.
I gave away Jamie Johnson and Kid Rock tickets because I just didn't want to drive to Greenville to go see them. But now we went in Charleston to see Walk Off the Earth, and right before Mike, the bearded guy, just passed away. So we saw him in November, and then they had a girl that opened, Tessa Violet. I'd never heard of this girl before. And, so we get back, we're looking at her on YouTube, and like her latest videos got 35 million views or whatever. Crazy. Like I'd never heard of this person.
Yeah. Somebody did though.
Yeah. So, I mean, it kind of just gets in. But what I've noticed like with that kind of stuff was like when she was performing, there was no instruments. She had one female playing drums, and that was it. It was drums. Everything else was all electronic or whatever. But that show was a lot of fun to be small venue. I've been to a lot of the CCMF
I like going
stuff.
I'd rather see a small, intimate type thing than. But the greatest concert I guess it's 2 years ago. My roommate was a huge U2 fan. I mean, I think I told you about this.
Oh, you did. Yeah, I remember.
She's such a big U2, and we both were. And we were always, we're like, one day we're going to go see him. And then, so a couple of years ago, he lives in New Orleans, so we got tickets. And that was, they did the whole Joshua Tree. It was a tribute to Joshua Tree, like the 20-year anniversary of Joshua Tree. And they played the entire album of Joshua Tree. And it was, I mean, I'm not even embarrassed to say it, but I was literally crying. Like, I mean, some of the songs were just so good. And to hear them live in a football stadium, to sound that good and to hear him, I mean, it was embarrassing in a way because my wife was like, "What is wrong with you?" Like, but literally, me and my buddy Germ, man, we both had just tears going down our face because those songs meant so much to us when we were in school and stuff. But
I've got to have seating. I'm done with.
We were way upper deck, but we were front row upper deck because.
I'm done with that stuff. Yeah. I've never had a good experience in general admission at all. I'm done with it.
Well, go to a show with my wife because she will drag your butt to the front. I don't know how she does it, but she gets up front somehow. I don't know how.
Well, Kevin and I were talking about the other day, like at CCMF is all general admission, and he was talking about how it's easier for his wife to like go to the restroom and then come back and fish her way through.
Oh yeah, then for you, yeah.
But some guy that's doing it, they think you're just being a jerk and you're trying to push your way to the front or whatever.
Well, and when she goes, she's always like, hold her spot, and I'm terrible. I'm just terrible about holding the spot because I'm just trying to like make myself bigger like a blowfish or something to try to cover the area, and I do a terrible job of that.
When we went to go see Walk Off the Earth, there was a lot of kids there, and so like our daughter and then a couple other kids were right up front. We got there really early, and so we're standing back giving them room, and some intoxicated college girl comes pushing her way up through. Literally, she is standing in front of me. Her hair is rubbing my nose. I mean, that's how close she is. It's just, there's 2 inches here. I'm going to squeeze in. And so then I'm just furious the whole time. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And so then I can't enjoy it. And I'm like,
yeah, you're thinking about that the whole time.
I want seats. I'll pay more money for seats. But like House of Blues is all general admission. But
there are seats upstairs because I went and saw Sister Hazel one time. We had seats upstairs.
Like we went to go see Aaron Lewis, and they brought out like fold-up chairs for, I don't know, 20 or 30 or 40 of them. I don't remember. There was like 2 rows that you could buy tickets for. And so I'm like, that's the only way we're going to do it. If I can get tickets to sit in those chairs, then I'm down to go see him. But it's weird, man, the different effect that music has on people. I love music and I appreciate it. I'm not a huge, I never got into really going out and buying CDs and downloading music.
I worked in music stores. I'm pretty sure all my paychecks just went to. I worked there for the store discount because I was going to buy it anyway.
But I had friends like that. Like I had a friend of mine in high school that wanted us to start a band, and I'm like, dude, it's just not me. I mean, I can appreciate it.
I played bass and I was terrible. I was not good at all.
Well, that's what we talked about was me playing bass because it's 4 strings and I can do this. But
he literally would teach me the song like a little before we would have practice, or whatever. He had to have a one-on-one with me, but nobody wanted to play bass. So if I played bass, I knew I could be in a band.
You could get in a band.
Yeah, somebody would grab me if I bought a bass guitar.
Yeah,
but yeah, I've just always really enjoyed it, and I really. Again, I keep saying it is work. I mean, doing the DJ thing on the weekend, getting things prepared, and I'm very particular about how I have to have everything and stuff, and to make sure that everything's proper. But it is fun though. I mean, I've had some. I mean, I could tell some crazy funny stories, or just really like heartwarming stories that you make a difference in people's life. And when people request songs, sometimes you don't know what they really mean. Yeah. I had recently had a guy request a song, and it was a song that did not work with what I mean, I had everybody dancing. This song, I mean, it was Led Zeppelin, Ramble On. It was like, how can I play that? Right. But they requested, it was a friend of his that his brother was the lead singer of a band, a very popular band. And so he was like, could you play, that's his favorite song. Could you play a song? So I was trying to figure out a way to work it into, and I said, I'll try. And he was like, you're going to do it, right? So I ended up finally, at the end, right before the last dance, I found a way to work it in. I played the song, and they all got up, and they all started dancing, and they were having a great time. And afterwards, the guy came over to me, and he shook my hand. He said, thank you so much. That means so much to me. The song that I played, I actually found a version of his brother's band.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, his brother's band actually did a cover of it that I found online. I played that song, and so I was like, did you realize I wasn't playing Led Zeppelin? I was playing his brother. And they're like, we all noticed that. That was awesome. That's
extra special.
And he literally had tears coming down his face because I didn't know this, but his friend was sick, and they didn't know how many more times they're going to have the opportunity to do that. So he said that was a really special moment for me. So he really gave me a drunk hug, and
it's crazy, man.
It really meant so much to me. I mean, it was better than any. I mean, sometimes people tip you good, which is fantastic, right? But that was way better than any tip. that I could have possibly.
It's crazy the effect that the emotion that music can bring up and that kind of stuff.
They had a moment there, and didn't know how things were going to be in the future. And at least they kind of had that opportunity to have that. So I mean, it's fun. You get to be part of their best day, their best moment, and the fact that you can try to make it even better. Yeah. And then we get we love mashups and mixing things up and kind of change it up a little bit and kind of give a different taste of just the song itself. So that's always fun to see people's reaction when you play a song at the right time. It's all about song selection. Yeah. You don't have to do all the other crazy stuff. As long as you can pick the right song at the right moment for the right people, then it's huge.
Which goes back to, you need somebody that loves music, understands music, knows music. I couldn't do it.
Or understands people and knows what is important to them. When they request a song and they want this particular song, it's on their list, there's a reason for that. And it normally means something different.
I just had a thought that, because you and I are about the same age. Do you remember in the late 80s, the annual MTV video countdown?
Oh yeah, of course.
And you just watch that thing for all day long. And remember, what was it?
You remember Friday Night Videos? Like NBC, before.
No.
Let's say I'm older than you are now.
No.
But yeah, Friday Night Videos was kind of before MTV really kind of got going, that they would just play certain videos. But yeah, that countdown, you'd want to see what the best one.
Number one, Sledgehammer. All the time, remember? Sledgehammer was
one of the best. But if you go back and watch some of those videos, gosh, they were horrible. I mean, what you're doing here is 1,000 times better than what the stuff they were. The quality was so bad.
If you remember back then, when Thriller came out, because it was so long, that was a huge deal.
Yeah, it was a 10-minute video, but it was like a movie, pretty much. Yeah.
And then what was it? It was maybe I was about to say Puff Daddy, but I guess now it's Diddy.
Or pretty soon he'll just be Puff.
It seems like like one of those like broke records for the production cost or what. Like I could remember, I don't remember the song, but like this was the first $1 million video and this and that, and it was this huge race. And now I watch, like you mentioned, covers. I love covers.
Yeah.
Like I'll search YouTube for not
Me too.
not bands doing covers, but just
like acoustic
people.
covers. Yeah.
Just people doing covers, and I love it. And the videos are amazing.
Check out Boyce Avenue if you haven't listened to them before. They're amazing.
Oh, yeah.
He's super talented.
Yeah. I've actually got some friends that went to go see Boyce Avenue, but that's a go-to. And those videos are beautiful the way they're filmed.
Oh, they're way
edited.
better than that stuff in the 80s that you saw. Yeah.
And they're doing it with just stuff they can buy off Amazon or whatever.
Sledgehammer.
But it's Sledgehammer. Remember Dire Straits, Money for Nothing.
The worst one ever, and I can't believe they let this happen, was the David Bowie, Mick Jagger, Dancing in the Streets. That is the...
I'll have to
look that up and try not to laugh because it is just, it's horrible. It's so bad.
Oh my gosh, what was the song with Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson right on the back of like a hay wagon on the truck?
Say. Yeah. I heard a great story about that too, that like, when they did that song, Michael Jackson was like, well, hey, what do you do to like to make extra money instead of just in the music business? And Paul McCartney was like, well, I like to buy like the rights.
I'll take your music
to different artists and stuff. And he said, oh, okay, cool. And he turned around and then Michael Jackson bought the entire Beatles collection, like out from under him.
I thought it was the other way. Was it yeah, but I could remember something.
Yeah, I think it's Michael bought the Beatles.
Is that what it was?
Right after he had done that song with Paul McCartney, he wasn't too happy about it.
Yeah.
But he owned a bunch of the Beatles.
Yeah, I remember that happening right in that time frame. Gosh, man, some of that music was so bad. Like I was talking to somebody the other day.
It's so bad it was good though. It's like one of those.
But like that fall from Grace, I don't remember the band, but I can remember watching like Where Are They Now?
Right.
And it was like, I don't know. I'm going to say Tesla. I don't know who it was. But it was some 80s hair band.
Insurance agent now or something.
Yeah, he's like hanging billboards. And I'm like, you were on the top of the world. It's women, it's drugs, it's food, it's everybody kissing your hind end, it's private jets, it's all this. And now you're putting up billboards talking about the good old days. That has to be an extremely painful fall from grace.
Oh, yeah.
And I worry about that too with these YouTube stars now. That when that changes,
I've seen that. That's happened where people have gotten like I read this. I saw this thing on Netflix. We talked about it where this girl on Vine, like she was huge, like she was the biggest star on Vine, and then now, when Vine went away, and then it
didn't transition to TikTok or YouTube or whatever. Yeah, no, I think that could be even worse than the kind of the rock star fall from
because
grace.
It's so personal though, because those people are laying it all out on the internet, and to have several million people like just deny you or talk smack about you and stuff, it's
no,
it kind of goes back like what we're talking about. Just I don't know if you would call it side hustles, but alternative types of jobs and stuff like that too, careers, things you can get into. I mean, it's out there. You just have to find what you do like or what you love or what you think you can be good at. Like, I mean, I think you're going to be amazing at this and find those passions and work towards them because
there's no opportunity like we've got right now.
No. And the thing is, I mean, it'd be easier to sit back and be the victim and say, I can't. But I mean, it's out there. I mean, if you're hungry and you're willing to sacrifice and actually work for it, it's out there. And it's easy for me to say that, but you got to do it. I mean, when I was in school, I mean, my mom and dad owned a company, so I figured I'd go work for them.
Right.
So I didn't get into college prep classes. I wasn't prepared for it. I was taking every vocational class and things like that. And I took a class as a junior in high school at the Career Center, and it was a sales and marketing class. And I literally fell in love with it. Like I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And so I started becoming a part of the DECA, which is like the marketing Distributed Clubs of America, whatever it's like. And so I got involved in that and became the president of that my senior year, and went to a competition and won, and got to go to out to Colorado and stuff. And so, I mean, you have to find a little niche, a little thing that gets you excited. And then it made me want to go to college. It made me want to kind of learn more about business and stuff like that too. And because of that, you have a very entrepreneurial spirit. Your whole life you wanted to own a business.
It's all I've ever wanted.
Yeah, all you wanted. And so for me, it was the same way. Like I had that instilled in me. And just recently, that teacher, her name was Miss Lynn. She was the one that really got me pumped up about it and really encouraged me. And she retired, and she asked me to speak at her retirement thing. But it was crazy to see all the people that she had influenced, and they all had this entrepreneur spirit to just go out and get it. And I told the story about Sound Quest and my kids, and my desire to do it was just because I didn't want them to go to debt, and I had to figure a way to pay for it. So if you're hungry and you got the desire, then I mean you can find. There's like you said, we're talking about Uber, and there's so many different side hustles and things that you can do. And I'm able to do the DJ thing. It doesn't affect my day-to-day job, so my wife's able to do all that stuff. So it's a very hectic balance, but it works, and I'll do it until college is paid off, and then we'll see what happens.
But like I try to use money as a crutch, right? I had the ability to go out and buy $400 microphones and 3 cameras and all this kind of stuff. I tell them, I was like, dude, you don't have to. You could literally do what we're doing right now with a cell phone and a $40 microphone.
True.
The quality is not going to be the same, but it's the content. It's not about the image quality. It's about the content. You go back and you look at like Gary Vaynerchuk's first wine library video, the image quality stunk. But I mean, look, it was 13 years ago or something that he made that first video. So from today, it was horrendous, but back then it was just content and building an audience and that kind of stuff. So it's not, people, you don't have to have, I can remember growing up thinking, if I just had a break, if I knew if I could get some money, I could make some money. If I could borrow, if somebody would loan me some money, if I could just borrow money or whatever, which would have helped. But I don't think I'd have lost it because I've lost plenty of money. You got to learn. You got to be patient. And the patience is the biggest thing I was talking earlier. Is like this has really been frustrating to me. And I understand it and I recognize it and I know it shouldn't be, but it's just part of my process.
Same with me. Like, I mean, with the DJ thing, I'd love to go out and buy all this stuff and everything like that. But you got to be smart about it. You got to build. Yeah. And that's what I try to do. I try to find ways to fund. If I have a big conference or like a big gig or whatever that I can help get into some different equipment. I mean, there's so many things I want to do, but it's all about timing and about finding the right time to do it and stuff. So
and like for me, this right here was the right time. We just sold the business, so it gives me the financial freedom to take a few more risks and do whatever I want to do there. But like I'm not even.
Well, you're betting on yourself,
right? Well. You got to pick a good horse.
That's right.
But even like right now, when I talk to Vicky about trying to do bigger and better and all that stuff, it makes her nervous because it's comfortable right now. We don't have to take any risk. You don't have to do anything.
Oh, when my wife walks by me and she sees a couple music websites on my laptop, or I'm looking at equipment or speakers or this and that. Yeah, she gets same thing. She gets nervous too because she's like, okay. But for me, it's about planning. Yeah. Like I got to have and I sold my company too, a year and a half ago, and it was a great decision, and I don't regret it a bit. It was the people that I have the opportunity to work with are amazing, and I think that I actually have a future with them. Yeah. And I'm gonna bust my tail to do what they want me to do and hopefully grow within the company. But I believe it would be a career.
It has. It's been a good experience. But for me, like with Vicky, whenever we talk about it and for her, it's comfortable and all that. Like I've got that itch that I need to scratch. That's all I've ever like. She's never wanted to own a business. It's not important to her.
Right.
She's always wanted to be a mother. Number one, that's all she's ever wanted to be a mother. All I've ever wanted is own a business. Mm-hmm. That's it. And I just sold one, and I want to own another one. And so this is it right now. It's a hobby,
and that's what helped me too, like to satisfy my entrepreneur spirit, and is to have the DJ company on the side.
Yeah, sure, because it's another business that'll kind of scratch that itch or whatever. Yeah, but. It's
a fun business. I mean, it really is. I mean, the people that you get to meet, and we meet some great families, and we're very blessed. We have not, knock on wood, had too many crazy people. Everyone's been awesome. Yeah, to work with and stuff. And we do bridal consults. So we'll sit down with the bride and groom and go over all their stuff and everything like that. And so we're able to do that after hours and stuff like that too. Sometimes on weekdays or on the weekends or whenever that is. Yeah. But I think it's cool what you're doing, man.
I love it. And that's one of the frustrating things. Not only is the subscriber base grows a little bit every day. It's not to subscribe. That's frustrating, but it's also like I could do 4 of these a day.
Yeah.
Like if I could get the people to do it, I could do this all day long, but there's no money, right? You got to pay the bills. You still got to do that kind of stuff. So we're still trying to figure it out, but right now it's just.
Well, when you get big enough, you need a house band or whatever, DJ, then I can go over here and just
bring that party,
just play some music and stuff too.
Bring the photo booth.
Bring the photo booth. Just click pictures and stuff too.
Well, thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. Thanks, buddy.